Hello, I'm Karen, and in this video I'm going to share with you how to make this beautiful pattern on a beanie hat. This particular hat here I've made with bamboo yarn and acrylic yarn. It's a bamboo and acrylic yarn mix, so which gives this lovely floppy feel. But for the sake of the video I'm actually going to make it in a double knit yarn, which is less floppy, but you still got the same effect of the pattern that's going off. Now, the original version of this pattern was made by, well, I don't know whether Katrina Bogdonova actually wrote it herself, but it's actually from a Russian lady, and she used a very tiny strands of yarn, a beautiful little cotton yarn, and I'll show you in comparison of the yarn next to a double knit yarn, so you can appreciate how thin this yarn actually is in comparison. And she actually used a really tiny hook. She did say it was a number 3. This hook here I've got, it's made by Rose, and it says it's a number 4. Now it's not a 4mm hook, because that's a 4mm hook. Okay, so we're looking at the size differences there. I'm going to be using the number 4 hook, 4mm hook, and I'm going to use double knit yarn. I'm using Yarn Fair Tootsie yarn, which is baby double knitting machine washable yarn. If you're in the UK, this is what I've got from Wilko's. So I'm just sharing that. And I will say that because it was originally requested by a lady called Cindy Lou and her family, because they all crochet. Her mum, her dad, her grandma, her granddad, they all crochet, and they all said that they were struggling with this pattern. And honestly, I can understand why they were struggling, because Katrina actually made a mistake in her video, and she's speaking in Russian. She's done a translation in English, and her and her husband, it does say in the description they actually don't speak English, so when they've done their translation it's actually got muddled up, because it's got muddled between knitting terms and crochet terms. So I can understand why there's confusion, but also the actual pattern itself I can understand why there's confusion, because you don't, even though you're doing a repetitive pattern, for the first few rows while you're actually doing your increases, the pattern is actually different on every row. Okay, so to make things easier, we're going to start off with a petite version, so we've actually got a less amount of increases before we actually make the hat. And then what I will do is I'll share with you how to do this to start off in the beginning of this video to do the petite, but I'm also going to do a video for you to carry on to increase for the adult sizes. Okay, and also on Katrina's original hat, she does some edging around the bottom, which is a shell stitch, but it doesn't match up and at the ends of the rounds, and I can't understand what she's saying because I don't speak Russian, but she is actually like slip stitching or single crocheting up to the next point to make it fit, which I also think makes things even more confusing. So I've chosen a more simplistic finish at the bottom, just to get you going. Obviously you can do anything you like on the bottom of yours, and I've also done a different version on this one, so I will share with you though this one is going to be for the petite version. Okay, and it's just a petite beanie, and all we're doing is we're using double crochet and front post double crochet. And normally when I start my crochet, I normally make what I call the magic knot, where I make this loop which I put on my hook, and I call it the magic knot because it just disappears if you pull at it. But it doesn't work for this pattern. You really do need to do the actual magic circle, which is a different start. So you get your yarn, the tail end, if you're right-handed obviously, is coming to the right, and you get your tension first, and then what you do is the yarn comes over the top of your fingers, and we want the yarn to come over a second time. And the hook, we have the hook so it's pointing downwards, and then you go underneath the first strand and you catch hold of the second one You can see that, and you pull that through there, then you twist so that your hook is now pointing up towards the ceiling, and then you do your chain. And this particular pattern, that's my first chain, so I've done chain 1. This particular pattern starts off with a chain of 3, so that's 1, 2, 3. And also in this pattern, the actual chain is used as a stitch, but it's used differently in different rounds. Sometimes it's used as a double crochet, sometimes it's used as the front post. So I really can understand the confusion of this one, but bear with me and I'll go slow, and hopefully we'll all be able to make this by the time we're finished. So I want to just say a quick thank you to Katrina Bogdonova and also to Cindy Lou and her family for sharing and pointing out this pattern. There is different versions on the internet. Some of them go right back to 2007, so it's not a new pattern, it's just probably not as popular just yet as we'd like it to be. So that's this is going to class as 1 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, oops daisy, 5. Notice that I'm coming under 2 loops all the way around. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Okay, and then the tail end, we pull the tail end, which joins all our work into the circle shape like that. And now what we're going to do is we need to work into the 3rd chain of this original chain that we did. Just to make sure that you know exactly where you're going, look for your first double crochet and look for your first top loops, and you know that you don't want to go in there. You want to go under the next 2 loops at the side of it, which is the top of your chain of 3. Okay, and we slip stitch to join. Now for this round 2 we need to do chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this particular chain is going to be classed as a double crochet and a chain 1, because on round 2 we need to do front post double crochet chain 1, front post double crochet chain 1 all the way round. So now we're going to yarn over like we would our normal double crochet, and normally you'd come over to the next piece here, but you're not in this pattern. You need to come into work into the chain that's directly underneath that chain that you've just made. That's where we're going to do this. This first double crochet is underneath that chain there, okay? And then we come under just like a normal double crochet, but we're doing it underneath a post. So you end up with a front post double crochet and a funny little loop that sticks out there. That's perfectly normal. That will settle down when we finish off the next round. So now we need to, the end of this round. So we need to do a chain 1, and then underneath the next double crochet we need to work a front post double crochet and chain 1, and same again under the next double crochet along. So we're going up through the back of our work, underneath it, and making this front post come onto the top of our hook, which is why it's a front post, because it's on the front of our hook. Okay, and double crochet, chain 1, and we're doing this repetitive all the way around. I'm pulling my work to one side so I can go through to the back, underneath, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and pull through 2 like we would do a normal double crochet. Chain 1, front post double crochet, chain 1, front post double crochet, chain 1 and front post double crochet, chain 1 and front post double crochet, chain 1, front post, oops, double crochet, chain 1, front post double crochet, sorry, whoops, and we did the chain 1, yeah, front post, chain 1, and then we've got one more to do there, and front post into there. Make sure you don't catch hold of this as you're coming through, it is a bit of an awkward stitch to do there, and do a chain 1. Remember to do that chain 1 at the end there. So now this chain that we came up was a chain of 4, and we still need to work into the 3rd chain. So just to make sure you've definitely got your 3rd chain, if you look at your post there of the double crochet and you've got your 2 strands at the top there, you want to make sure you've got a chain unused, and so it's in the chain next door to that, so that you finish off so that still looks like a double crochet and a chain 1. Okay, and so your work will look like this from the front, and as you can feel as you're working, it looks like this from the back. Okay, and that's what you want, that's perfectly fine, and this, you can pull this tight so it makes everything all nice and neat. Okay, so that was round 2. Now for round 3, what we need to do is we need to do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, that's going to be classed as a double crochet, and this, the same again, we need to work a front post underneath the chain that's directly underneath that. Okay, so we're going to go underneath there, and we're going to, oops a daisy, need to yarn over, and we're going to do a double crochet, a front post double crochet just there, and chain 1. Okay, and then we're going to work into the top of the this front post double crochet there. We're going to work into the top of that there, so that's the next loop to work into there. So we're just going to do a normal double crochet there, and then we're going to do a front post double crochet underneath into that same one there that's directly underneath. Okay, and we work a front post there and chain 1, and then we work a double crochet in the top, a front post and a chain 1, and we repeat that pattern all the way around. So it's a double crochet, front post, chain 1, double crochet into the top of the next one, and then front post front post into that same stitch, chain 1, double crochet into the top of the next one, front post, chain 1, double crochet into the top, front post, chain 1, double crochet into the top, front post double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the top, front post, chain 1, double crochet into the top, front post, chain 1, double crochet into the top, front post, chain 1, double crochet into the top, front post, chain 1, and then into the last one we need to double crochet into the top, front post. You do have to wiggle your work, remember you don't want to try and catch hold of that bit there. This is the front post and chain 1, and then this stitch that's at the back there we need to then slip stitch into the 3rd chain, which is not the top of the double crochet but the chain at the side of it, underneath 2 loops, and slip stitch to join. Okay, I'm sorry mine's not looking perfectly as a circle right now, we have pulled at it, but there we go, and on the underside it's going to look like this. Now your work naturally is going to want to curve towards you as you work, so don't worry, that's perfectly normal. But as you look at your work now, I'm just going to pull up my loop so I can show you. So what you've got is you've got this post here is classed as a double crochet, same as that one there. So you've got 1 double crochet at the back, and you've got the front post double crochets pointing up towards the front. Yeah. So that's the pattern that we've got forming there. Okay. So now what we're going to do on this round is we need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Oops, daisy, I'm stuck. And then we're going to double crochet into the top of the front post, double crochet. So that means now we've got 2 stitches at the back, and then we're going to do the front post double crochet, so it's there, look, into this one, and chain 1. So for this particular round it's going to be 1, 2, and then we're going to front post into the front post and chain 1. So this one's 1, 2, and front post, chain 1, 1, 2, front post, chain 1. Yeah, so we're always doing the front post in the front post. So we've got some stitches at the front and some stitches that look effectively like they're going to the back. One, 2, we're doing that second one, that's a front post, chain 1. 1, 2, 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 front post, chain 1. Oh dear, yarn's starting to get tangled. 1, 2, front post, chain 1. 1, 2, front post, chain 1. 1, 2, front post, chain 1. 1, 2, front post, and chain 1. And then we've got the chain of 3 there, and we need to work into the top of our chain of 3, which not into the double crochet but into the little stitch at the side. Mine's a bit tight there, where I did that was a tight stitch, but underneath 2 strands and slip stitch to join. And there you can see we've increased around, and what has happened is that we've got the front post, and this round here, look, just pull this up, on that round there was a front post and there was only one double crochet at the back, and now we've got the front post and we've got 2 double crochets at the back. Now we can continue with that same pattern to be able to increase and increase, but for this particular one I said I'm going to show you the easy way. So now that's the changes, that was the increase rounds. Now this round we're going to this is going to be the top of the hat, and we're now going to just start making it come down. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to do 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work, we still want to have 2 stitches. Okay, so what we want to do is, if you look at your work, you've got the second double crochet that's coming up there. You want to come underneath those 2 stitches there, and you have to come at this angle to make this double crochet there. So you've got your double crochet. So these 2 stitches now are classed as those 2 stitches there, and this is where you chain 1, and then we do a front post, and a chain 1, and then we work into the top of the next 2 stitches, because we're keeping the same distance now. So this is 1, 2, chain 1, front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post, chain 1, 1, 2, oopsie daisy, I'm sorry, chain 1, front post into the front post, it still has to be in the same front post all the time, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post in the front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, and front post in the front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post, oops, in the front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post in the front post, chain 1, 1, 2, front post in the front post, oh, no, stop, sorry, I did 1, 2, chain 1, front post in the front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post in the front post, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, front post in the front, oh, don't catch that bit like I did, front post in the front post and chain 1, and then slip stitch into the third chain at the beginning. Now this is just going to be repetitive pattern now, so you're going to be chaining 3, 2, 3, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, and you can see it's a lot easier now to do your front post and your front posts, and chain 1. So that's 1, 2, chain 1, front post in the front post, and chain 1. And what I want you to do is you want to keep doing this repetitive pattern now. I'm just going to stop at this one after I've done this front post and chain 1 bit here and make sure that I'm in a good place to stay. Right, so just double crochet to there. So now you're going to repeat that. You're going to just keep, each time you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch into the third chain, and you're just going to keep doing these rows of 2. And when you look at your work, you can see you've got your front post coming down, you've got your 1 at the back, and then you can see where you've increased into 2, and then it stays as 2. So you actually want a total of, including this original increase row, you want to have 10. Let me just check on that. Did I do 10? There, look, that's where I did my increase. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so it was a total of 10 rows of just the 2 in the middle and the 1 on the outside. Okay, and if you carry on doing that, that's what you're going to end up with, except you're going to finish without this edging. Okay, so thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing. I have to end up my video now because my children are due home any minute and I don't want them to burst through the door and go, "Hi Bob," and it's just like be crazy. Okay, so I'm going to love you and leave you, and if you join me in the next video, I will show you how to do this simplistic trim on the edge. Okay, thanks again, bye for now.